For decades, Americans were told a simple story. Work hard, and your life will get better. Your kids will have it better than you did. That was the promise, the bedrock of the American dream. But today, millions of people are looking around and asking a really uncomfortable question. What happened to this country? Everything feels more expensive, more stressful, and just harder than it used to be. Rent is through the roof. A trip to the doctor is a complicated nightmare. Debt is everywhere you look. Wages feel like they're stuck in the mud, while the cost of everything else is on a rocket ship. Even the most basic systems, things that are supposed to help us, feel like they were designed to make us want to pull our hair out. So, how did we get here? This wasn't an overnight disaster. It wasn't one single crisis, one bad decision, or one villain. It was a slow, quiet drift. A series of small shifts across multiple systems, all happening at the same time, that fundamentally changed the way the country works. Let's start with the big one. The economy. The U.S. economy quietly shifted gears. Instead of being an engine powered by people earning steady wages and making things, it became an engine powered by debt, consumption, and the dizzying highs and lows of the financial markets. For a long, long time, this shift was masked by something powerful. Cheap money. Think about it. Credit was easy to get. Credit cards, student loans, car loans, mortgages, they were everywhere. If your paycheck wasn't growing, you could just borrow to fill the gap. New by now, pay later services made it even easier to live a lifestyle that your income couldn't actually support. This created a powerful illusion of prosperity. It felt like things were okay because we could still buy the stuff we wanted. But underneath the surface, the foundation was getting weaker and weaker. Housing is the perfect example of this. A home used to be, first and foremost, a place to live, a place to raise a family, build a life. But over time it transformed into something else. A financial asset, an investment, to be flipped for a profit. And as Wall Street and big investment firms poured money into real estate, prices skyrocketed, climbing way faster than wages ever could. For a huge number of people, the dream of owning a home drifted out of reach, and for those who rent, they got squeezed from the other side, as landlords jacked up prices to match the hot market. Then there's healthcare. What should be a simple service? You get sick. You see a doctor. You get better morphed into a monstrously complex billing machine. It's a confusing maze of insurance companies. Deductibles, co-pays, and surprise bills. The pricing is completely opaque. Most Americans have no idea what a medical procedure will cost until the bill arrives, sometimes weeks or months later. It's a system that seems designed to benefit insurance companies and hospital administrators, not the actual patients who need care. It creates a constant, low-level anxiety for millions of families who know that one bad illness could lead to financial ruin. The world of work changed dramatically, too. The old idea of company loyalty, where you'd work for one employer for decades and retire with a pension. Jobs became less stable, more temporary. The gig economy was sold as freedom, but for many it meant no benefits, no job security, and no predictable income. Meanwhile, workers became more productive than ever before. We were creating more value, more efficiently. But where did all that extra money go? Overwhelmingly, it went to corporate profits and shareholder dividends, not into the paychecks of the people doing the work. For a while, the system held together with cheap credit and low inflation. But then, the dam broke. When inflation hit and prices for gas, groceries, and everything else started to spike, the fragility of it all was exposed. People suddenly realized just how thin their financial cushions were. The debt that had felt manageable when things were cheap suddenly became a crushing weight. Paychecks that were already stretched thin just couldn't keep up anymore. It was like the tide went out, and everyone could see who had been swimming without a swimsuit. This economic stress led to something just as corrosive: a collapse in public trust. People started to lose faith that the systems were fair. They looked at Wall Street getting bailed out while Main Street struggled. They saw politicians making promises that never seemed to come true. They felt like the game was rigged. That feeling that no matter how hard you work, the deck is stacked against you is incredibly demoralizing. And that's the key. The frustration we're all feeling today isn't just about money. It's psychological. It feels like every simple task has become a bureaucratic obstacle course. Opening a bank account, dealing with a utility company, Even just trying to get a straight answer from customer service, everything seems to require too many steps, too many forms, too many approvals, and way too much waiting. A great way to think about it is the Rube Goldberg effect. You know, those crazy contraptions where a ball rolls down a ramp, hits a series of levers, which triggers a toy car, which pops a balloon, all to accomplish a simple task like turning on a light. That's modern America. We've built layer upon layer of complexity over decades, with each new rule, regulation, and corporate policy designed to protect the institution, not the individual. The system has become a machine that serves itself. Now, none of this means the United States has collapsed, or that it's a failed state. It's still a place of immense innovation, opportunity, and incredible people. But what it does mean is that for decades, the country optimized for things like corporate growth, financial speed, and quarterly profits, without building in resilience for everyday people. When the economic conditions were good and credit was flowing, it all felt manageable. But when those conditions changed, everything felt heavy, complicated, and broken all at once. So, the next time you find yourself wondering what on earth happened to this country, remember this: it wasn't one big explosion. It was a slow leak, a gradual accumulation of complexity, expense, and fragility that built up over years. And once you understand that, the question stops being so shocking, and the answer, as frustrating as it is, starts to make a lot more sense. Thanks for watching. If this resonated with you, let me know your thoughts in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the systems that shape our world. See you next time.